y'all, it's Siobhan Muir. Welcome back to my cooking show. Kind of the how to make some of these goodies that make your life a little better. Well, today what we're going to do is a fruit pizza. I have seen these things on Pinterest. As a matter of fact, the recipe I have that says, if you want to do it like Pinterest.
We've done this recipe before.
We have. A long time ago I did this recipe before. Well, I didn't film it, but I did do the work that puts this pizza together, and it turns out to be a really good recipe. Now, the modifications I'm doing this time are I'm making it gluten-free. So for those of you that have gluten allergies, this is the recipe for you. Now, I know a lot of people are like, aren't you ever gonna do normal recipes? Well, yes, I'll do some. But for the most part, I'm doing a lot of gluten-free because Muirlet number one has a gluten allergy. And it's a lot less fun to eat things when your family can't. I mean, you can make them, you might as well give them away because your family can't eat them. And that's why I've chosen to kind of start modifying my recipes to make them gluten-free. Now, are there some that I will make without gluten or with gluten? Yeah, there are. But for the most part, I think I can modify a lot of these. So what we're gonna do today is called fruit pizza. And I'm gonna start with the shortbread crust. And so what I'm going to do is you need 2 sticks of very soft butter.
Not as soft as yesterday. I'm really happy about that, actually.
So we'll need 2. How about you do those?
Oh my God.
Yeah, you'll have a good time with those.
Why me again?
What? Because you can. Half a cup of powdered sugar and 2 cups of all-purpose flour. But so, yeah, use a knife.
Yeah, but this was for something else.
We can get another knife. Fortunately, we have more than one.
I know. Slippery and slimy and not my favorite.
Slippery and slimy.
It's just and now the egg is covered in it. Oh yeah, you.
Ew.
There. No, wrong.
No. No, wrong. Okay, so 2 sticks of butter, which is 1 cup of butter, half a cup of powdered sugar, and we'll put in 2 cups of all-purpose gluten-free flour. Now you can, again, normally this recipe is with gluten. Just substitute the gluten-free flour for the gluten flour, for the all-purpose flour. That's all you really need. And we need 2 cups. 1. 2 cups. Now, another thing I'm going to do that's a little bit different is I'm going to add just a half a teaspoon of vanilla to this crust. Normally you don't add vanilla to shortbread. That's okay. This time, that's another modification I'm making. It's just a little bit of vanilla adds some sweetness to it and makes it taste, it gives it a little pizzazz. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to stir this up a little bit and then I'm going to add the vanilla. Now you can use a hand mixer for this, but honestly, when the butter is so soft, it mixes up by hand really easy.
Besides with the mixer, all your flour just goes.
Well, not if you do it slowly. Oh yeah, you could use that, couldn't you? You could cut everything up, huh?
Mm-hmm.
This thing that she got out is a pastry cutter. And technically, what we're making here is pastry. Yeah, this actually is, I mean, if you never put anything on top of it to make this fruit pizza, you basically have a big old round of shortbread.
Sounds fine with me. Oh, well, I like fruit too, so.
Well, I mean, this is going to be the good stuff. Think of it this way. It's an Alfredo. It's an Alfredo crust pizza. Why? Because we're using cream cheese.
Oh, I was going to say
Alfredo sauce?
Oh, I was like, Alfredo involves pasta.
And mozzarella.
Neither of which are right here. So
No, but our sauce is going to be cream cheese and a little bit of sugar. Actually, leave these. Well, I mean, do you want to do it in the sauce as well?
Sure.
I don't know. What do you think?
Yes.
What are you, Mr. Incredible?
Well, I am incredible, but no arrogance here.
None. Well, actually, you're not wrong. You are incredible.
Oh, thanks. I guess it was better than saying we'll burn the bridge when we get to it. Although I believe that's also from a movie, but I can't remember which one. We'll burn that bridge when we get there. It's gonna bother me now.
Good.
It's definitely not what should be bothering me, but that's what's at the forefront of my mind right now.
Okay. So once you have the crust all mixed together, it doesn't have to look perfectly smooth, because what you're going to do is you're going to end up smoothing it out on the pan. Now, I think we should probably put, it doesn't say this in the recipe, but I would suggest putting parchment paper on it. That way you can flatten the crust out and it comes right off the pan. So we'll need to set the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 177 degrees Celsius. And what we're going to do now is spread this on the pan for pizza. All right, so what we're going to do is, this is going to be high tech. Watch this. We're going to spread this out and make a pizza crust. This is not like a typical crust in that you can't really roll it out. But what you're going to do is you're going to kind of gently spread it in a complete circle until not only is it all one more or less piece, but it's kind of the same thickness, right? And this is where you just use your hands. Stick to the paper, not to me. Now, the nice thing about it being kind of like a little crust is you can do some fun designs on it, in the sense that you can make it look crusty.
Pun intended?
Kind of. I suppose you could also make it look like a big cookie.
That would probably be agreeable.
I mean, you don't want to show this on Pinterest if your crust isn't perfect, right?
No comment. I don't look on Pinterest often. Thanks, I would people on Pinterest cheat?
I don't know. There are some really talented folk. And then they take pictures of it all artsy fartsy.
No.
All right, look at that. Pretty elegant looking pizza. What do you think? Ta-da! And again, you can do whatever you like in terms of the edges. I mean, if you want to do a crenulated edge like a real pie, you could try that. You can just do it flat, because remember, this is just your base pizza. I don't remember if it said, oh, and then it says perforate with a fork. Perforate with a fork to allow for even baking, all right? Because like any crust, you don't want it to harden on you and not bake all the way through. So I know, this is very exciting.
Morse code.
Good. All right. So, when the oven's ready, it's not quite ready yet, we'll put this in for 15 minutes and then let it cool. You're gonna want it as cool as possible. I'm not telling you to wait for an hour, but you're gonna want it to be about a half an hour to let it cool. Fortunately, you have other things to do that allow you to let this thing cool once it's done baking. So that's what we're going to do next as soon as the oven's ready. So the timer just went off, yikes, and it just got opened. Okay.
Little
Ooh,
happy.
it smells good. Totally smells good.
I'm hyper excited.
Okay, this is what it looks like. Woo! And I'm just gonna set up there because I do not want. And normally we would leave the oven open, but because it's getting up to 85 degrees during the day, we're not gonna leave the oven. I'm just gonna let it cool right there. Okay, so this is what your crust should look like. A little bit like a pizza cookie. I mean, for lack of a better, kind of a pizza cookie. And it smells really good. Boy, I'll tell you what, the addition of the vanilla really made a difference, and it smells really, really good. So, I highly recommend adding vanilla. We're not gonna do that with the sauce though. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna work on the sauce. While this cools, you're gonna make your sauce, which I keep saying Alfredo, but really what it is 1 bar of cream cheese softened, a half a cup of sugar, and I'm going to add a little bit of almond extract to my sauce, so you get, like I said, sometimes just these little bit of flavorings make a big difference in the final result. So what you do is you unwrap the ooey gooey.
Hey, look, that one doesn't get slimy.
That's because it's not full of oil.
I know. My goodness.
It is still kind of ooey gooey though.
Yeah.
Will you give me a spatula so I can get all this off? All right, we're gonna.
How about peas?
Yeah, please.
For a second there, I had to stop. Is that really what it says? Yes.
That really what it says? Yes, it does. Okie dokie. All right, so there's that, and then one cup of sugar, or 1/2 cup sugar. Sorry, you don't want a cup of sugar. That's a little too sweet.
It's like, whoa, okay.
And 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract. Again, this is a new thing I'm adding to the recipe. So technically I could say this is Siobhan Muir's fruit pizza because I've made 3 changes. I've added vanilla to the crust, I've added almond extract to the sauce, and I've used gluten-free flour. But I'm not, like I said, I'm showing you how to make the pizza and I'm using gluten-free flour. Oh, and my cameraman pointed out to me that I'm using 1-to-1 gluten-free flour, which acts just like the regular gluten flour in terms of how to bake. So keep that in mind. All right, then what you're going to do is you're going to mix this stuff up until you make a lovely cheese sauce, cream cheese sauce.
I can smell the almond. You know, that's why everyone loves almond vanilla cookies.
Yes, well, almond cookies are my favorite.
But we're basically making an almond vanilla cookie.
Yes, we are. You could use a hand mixer for this, but really, with the cheese so soft, you don't need to. You want to mix this until it's smooth. Basically, you're making frosting.
It smells fantastic.
It does.
Thank goodness for the fan. Brought the smell of almond.
All right, so now you're going to have just a opalescent looking frosting. This will be your cheese sauce that you put on your fruit pizza. And again, I say it's cheese because it is. It's cream cheese, but it's cream cheese with sugar and almond extract, and it's yummy. All right, so what you're gonna do is set this aside. Again, you want to make sure that your pizza crust is cool before you put it on, otherwise it melts off of it and then it just gets all drooly. That's not what you want, especially if you're gonna put it on Pinterest. All right, so I'm gonna set that aside. Okay, so now what you need to do is you need to prep the fruit. What we decided to do, usually this particular recipe calls for 7 to 9 strawberries sliced, about a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch, or hulled and sliced. 1 package of blackberries, about 14. None of these are absolute, okay? You can choose how many or how little. I mean, if you just want to make only a strawberry pizza, no one's gonna say, excuse me, you didn't do it right. You can have as many or as few blackberries as you have. And then it says a package of raspberries, 36, 42, you could do a raspberry pizza. And then 1 package of blueberries. We are not using blueberries this time, although we do have them. We are going to use black grapes this time. So we have strawberries, raspberries, blackberries, and black grapes. So those are the 4 things we're using this time. It says hull the strawberries and cut in 1/4 inch slices to make a total of 21 large slices. Again, the numbers are approximate. You can do whatever you like. Then set aside, wash the blackberries, raspberries, and blueberries, and let fully drain. So here's what I suggest to do. This is something you can do and I learned earlier. When you get your fruit from the store, throw it in a vinegar water bath for about 15 minutes. That means about to every gallon of water, put in about 2 tablespoons of vinegar. Let them, swirl them around, let them sit for a while. The nice thing about it is it removes someone said bacteria, but that's not right. Could be fungus, whatever. It removes whatever allows it to mold quickly. That keeps your fruit really good. And then store it in a glass container, and it can last up to 2.5 weeks. My raspberries from last time, here's my raspberries this time. Raspberries from last time lasted 2.5 weeks, and they were still good, and I could eat them on ice cream, and they didn't mold at all. But you want to do it within a day or 2 of buying it, because otherwise your strawberries, your blackberries will just go fuzzy, and you don't want them fuzzy. So that's the way to clean them. Make sure that they air dry and then put them in their containers. So since I've already cleaned mine, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to slice up some fruit. So I decided to use grapes, so I'm going to slice those in half. And I decided to use strawberries, so I'm going to hull them and chop them into pieces. So we'll start with the grapes. And you need quite a few, and so I'm pretending these are blueberries. So what I'm going to do is cut them in half, and then we'll put them flat side down, kind of like that, on the pizza. All right. Once you have all of your grapes sliced, like I said, you're just going to pretend they're blueberries, right? They look like blueberries. They're blueberries.
These halves are small.
Yeah, they are. All right. So when you do your strawberries, what you want to do is you want to hull them. So that means you take off the green plant part of your strawberry. And the easiest way to chop it this way, now this is a pretty big strawberry and they wanted them about a 1/4 inch slice. I'd say 1/4 to a 1/2 inch. So just, you know, something like this. You're trying to make slices because they lay on the pizza a lot better. And then you just throw them in the bowl until you have a bunch of sliced strawberries that you can put aside. Right, and if there's any extra left over, once you've decorated your pizza, then you can eat them. So once the pizza crust is cool, we'll start to assemble. All right, now that your crust is, well, this is mostly cool, but it's cool enough that when you put on the sauce, it won't melt and drool and ooze off the sides. You don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scrape all this cheese sauce, cream cheese sauce, and I'm just gonna throw it on here because really what you're going to do is just spread it all over, and there's no reason to keep it in the bowl. All right, so then because it's just frosting here, let's move this over here, since I'm right-handed. You're just gonna spread this out like you were spreading cheese sauce on a pizza. You are making a pizza, it just happens to be a sweet pizza instead of a savory one. Remember, for Pinterest, must make it perfect. Actually, we might have too much for this. What do you think?
More for me?
More for you? You're just gonna eat the sauce?
I might. We have chocolate. Just dip it.
Now, I am choosing to leave about an inch at the edge that you can hold on to when you are eating this, right? Because this one's a little short on that edge, but
It actually looks really good this way. Oh, it smells good too.
all right, what do you think?
Yum.
Yum? You can lick that. It turned out so good. Adding the almond extract. Good stuff. Okay, so now is the time to kind of put together the fruit, right? So what we decided to do is we're gonna do a circle of strawberries. Let's get our strawberries out here. And we're going to, how do you want to do this? Do you want to put points out, points in?
Points in.
Points in.
I think that looks kind of snazzy.
Kind of snazzy, she says.
I like that word, snazzy.
All right, so we're not gonna do it that way. I was not gonna put it down that side, but okay, we're gonna, yeah, These are slippery little buggers. And, you know, how you want to, the universal size, you know, do you want them all about the same size? Do you care? I'm not terribly upset about. You might have to cut up some more.
Oh, I doubt it.
according to the recipe, you can choose any design you like. You can either do it circular like this, you can do it zigzaggy. So what we decided, after much discussion, was that we are going to do a crisscrossing pattern of strawberries. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Fun with strawberries. Get over here. All right.
And then maybe put a little one.
I was going to. I just had to find the right little one. All right, so let's do this bad boy over here. Ooh, you're just gonna have enough strawberries.
Oh, we'll have more than enough. Especially since if we're only doing the.
No, I think that's good. We'll start with that.
Nice.
All right, now, and then we thought we'd do V's on the inside. Should we do grapes?
Yeah.
Let's do grapes next. Pretty much.
It's gonna look a lot like. You know.
You know. Why don't you help me with this?
Okay.
We'll work on this. Get in there. Get in there. Get in there.
Shh, we'll talk.
Oop. Warning. Grape down. Grape down. Uh-huh.
I love how we're kind of matching.
What do you think?
Like it. How do they taste?
They're okay. Wait, so those are grapes. Now,
Let's do raspberries in the very center.
no, we'll do the blackberries that are because we have the fewest.
Okay.
Now, do we want to stand the raspberries up?
We could.
Oh, yeah, stand the raspberries
And
up.
we'll make triangles. And we'll put the blackberries in the very center.
Right, so then, whoa, that's a big blackberry.
Take
Maybe
a little one.
maybe a slightly smaller one. Ta-da! What do you think?
Yeah.
Ooh, those blackberries are good.
Are they?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god, I'm watching this eat them.
I need a small one. How about this dude right here? Oop, you, back in there. There we go. Look at that. So here it is. This is it. This is what you, and it does look nice enough. We could probably put it on Pinterest if we'd like. But, yeah, you can decorate as you like. I kind of like the crisscrossing thing. Looks pretty neat. But yeah, fruit pizza. The only additions I made is to the crust. I used gluten-free all-purpose flour. I used a half a teaspoon of vanilla flavoring. And then in the cream cheese sauce, I added almond flavoring and only a half a teaspoon of that. And boy, did it made a good difference. So now what you do is you chill this for a little while until you're ready to serve. and then you cut it just like a pizza. They did suggest in the recipe to use a small serrated knife to cut it, because anything else would kind of crush the cookie crust. But yeah, that's it. Looks good, doesn't it? Makes my mouth water. So just chill until you're ready to serve, and then you have fruit pizza. So thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you had a good time putting together your fruit pizza. And definitely subscribe to my channel and ring that little bell in the corner to let you know when new videos come up. You can also find these on my Patreon page, so you can join me there. So, and for only $3 a month. Pretty easy, pretty snazzy. Anyway, happy making, happy baking, happy eating, and happy reading. Thanks, and I'll see ya.